Hello, hello, and welcome to Bla Bla Black Sheep, a weekly yarny podcast where I, Sarah Korth of SEK Handmade, answer your yarny questions. Welcome! I am so glad that you are here, whether it's your first time or your manyth time. Welcome. It's lovely to have you here. I love doing this podcast and you make it possible, so thank you. I hope you're doing well. I'm just gonna dive right in. No great transitions, no amazing stories. What am I gonna wear? Last week I published, that's the word, the Winslow collection. Yes, a whole nother collection. This one started off simple and went off the rails, you guys. If you want the whole story, go ahead and I will link the introduction video down below. It tells the whole sordid story of how one cowl turned into an entire collection. I am going to be wearing the 3-color short cowl today. Yes, both of those things indicate that there are other variations. I'm just gonna put it over my head and make sure that the beautiful purple on the bottom is showing, and then zhuzh it a little bit at the top. That's all I'm gonna do. So let me introduce you just real briefly to the whole rest of the collection here. It started with this guy. I wanted a tall and cozy cowl. That's the back side. Nope. I don't know. Honestly, you guys, yeah. The join on this is pretty hard to see. So that's a good thing, right? Started with this guy, tall, super cozy cowl with a mohair. It's actually cereal alpaca, but a fuzzy yarn at the top. And then I was like, you know, it'd be great, something shorter. And so I made a shorter version with the wool and the mohair. I keep calling it mohair. It's cereal alpaca. These two are yarn from the Fiber Co. company, whatever. Amazing company, gorgeous yarn. If you have not tried their Zero, you must. The squish and the softness is amazing. But once I did these two, I was like, I started overthinking, and I was like, maybe some people will need/want just a single and a not mohair version. And so then came this guy. So this is 3 colors. So instead of fading between the single wool, the wool and the mohair, and then just the mohair, it's 3 separate colors of yarn. So I did that in the tall and the short. Of course, those all needed different fade instructions, but all 4 are in the cowl pattern. And then, of course, every cowl needs a hat. So I have the mohair and wool versions in a brimmed and a brimless. And then I have the 3-color single-stranded worsted in a brimmed and a brimless. And then, of course, the cup cozies. So these are both in single-strand Malabrigo because that's what's good and easy to work with. If you want all the details on all the yarn, as well as like links and colorways and everything, again, I'll link the introduction video to the Winslow collection in the description below. Just click the more, and all the details are there, so you can check it all out. So that's what I'm wearing today. I'm super excited. I'm super excited for this collection for a few reasons. One, it's so cozy. Working with that Zero was amazing, amazing. And then, I mean, Malabrigo, the color, the boldness, you know I love it. 2, though, this is the center single crochet stitch, and this is one that has, frankly, annoyed me for quite a while. I would think, oh, it's so pretty, I'm going to use it, and then I'd start a pattern, I'd be like, meh. And then I'd try it again, and then same results. I finally figured out how to perfect the stitch, and you know you know I have given you all the tips and tricks. So some people call this the waistcoat stitch. The pattern of the fabric, so the whole entire fabric is waistcoat stitch, which is confusing because it says stitch. It's like the Bavarian stitch that's like a stitch pattern, but it's made up of like double crochets and stuff. Why are we so confusing in crochet? So the whole fabric is called waistcoat stitch, and then the actual stitch itself that makes the waistcoat stitch is a center single crochet. So I now love it. I'm certain you will see more things with this stitch. I really want to try some color work stuff with it. Side tangent. I have this vision for a Bla Bla Black Sheep cowl that has little sheep that it's like maybe, I don't know, maybe like a blue background or maybe like a light gray. I don't know, it has to have enough contrast, so it might need to be a bold color. Like a blue background and then a bunch of white sheep and then one black sheep and then like a hot pink heart. When will I get to that? I don't know. Yeah, so there you go. What is bringing me joy, you guys? We had another family medical emergency. And so joy, honestly, feels like a very strong word right now. But I am incredibly grateful for my family, and not just my immediate family, though my husband has been just incredible. My kids have been kids. They don't want me to leave. I'm recording this before I go, so they didn't want me to leave, but my mother and father-in-law, who live in the same city as us, have been stellar. Friends close by have been stellar. My dad and my sister and my sister-in-law have all been like working together to stay informed. And so being just barely over 6 months after my mom passed, it's a lot. But I am very grateful for my family. So if I disappear, if this is the last you see of me for a little while, it's because we're supporting that my brother and his family, and but already he seems to be doing really, really well. So my hope is that we'll get down there, we'll squish his face, we'll hug his kids, we'll support his wife for a little while, and then we'll help them slowly return to normal-ish. So anyways, let's talk small businesses. I have one of my favorite mugs by Earth Love by Danny. It's got the bees and that gorgeous glaze and the texture. I mean, it's just got it all, right? So link to Danny's shop in the show notes. And then I'm wearing earrings from a local maker who I met at the art festival this summer, and I just love them. Do you know what? She is just a genius. These are the most lightweight earrings because she makes them out of fancy wallpaper. What? It's such a genius idea, and it's so unique. And there's like, I mean, you think polymer clay earrings are lightweight. Man, I mean, it's literally paper hanging from your ears, like real nice paper, but it's just amazing. Just amazing. Did I get the biggest pair she had? Maybe. Oh gosh, too funny. So, but I love them. Her link will be below too. Check her out. Not only did I meet her locally, but she is actually local to me. So much fun. Announcements. WIP Wrap Up is almost done, but it's not too late to join in. You guys, we're still having fun. I am blown away by the number of WIPs that people have finished up. I've contributed a few, but not nearly as many as some other people. And it's not about like amassing a giant number. I am so impressed by people who are finishing sweaters and blankets. Like, not like, I finished a cup cozy. I mean, some of that too, but like real big things. There was someone who, I want to say, she said she'd had this blanket for 5 years and she finally finished it up because of the encouragement of the group. And that's why I do this. It brings me so much joy to see people tackle things that they've been hung up on. So, yay! All the links below. Get your WIPs in. We've got a little more time. Not a lot more time, but a little more time. And there are prizes. So it's just fun and support and community and loveliness. So thank you to everyone who has joined in. You all just have really been the best. I am flying, and I'm not gonna lie, it's partly because I am literally going to be flying soon. So, we're ready for questions. Let's answer some questions. If you have a question, there is a link in the show notes below. Just click the more under the title, and there's a little form. I think I put like, have a question, and you click that, it takes you to a Google form. You just type in your question. It's all anonymous, so I'd love to know what you would love to know about. So let's hear what some other people wanted to know about. All right. Question number 1. Washing your handmades. I know there's using wool wash and laying flat to dry, which can take forever depending on the time of year and humidity levels. And if you're braver than me and use a washing machine and can even freeze your handmades and maybe other methods too, but what actually works, what's best, what's most efficient? I recently wool washed a sweater and it took 3 days to dry with a dehumidifier running right next to it. I also tried freezing my sweater, but it still smelled like I had worn it, particularly in the underarms. She did a little emoji. So maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe certain methods work for certain fibers. Can you give tips? Yes, I would love to. Okay, first of all, let me say that there are probably as many methods as there are people. Might be an exaggeration, but maybe like yarn traditions, because, you know, yarn is an ancient craft, and so traditions and cultures and areas of the globe have been using yarn and making yarn and wearing yarn for a long time. I was like years, and I'm like, that doesn't express the extent of it. Just like few years. So I'm certainly not saying that this is any sort of comprehensive, I haven't done historical research. This is just my personal research. Okay. Let's start with what I definitely don't do. I don't think the freezer method works. You are not the first person that I have heard that tried it and got their sweater out and was like, nope. Here's my concern with the freezing method. Is it possible that you could stick it in the freezer and I'm gonna back that up. Is it possible that you could get a garment cold enough for long enough that it breaks down the bacteria that might be causing the unwanted fragrance, shall we call it? I think yes. And I think in very far north yarn loving communities, it was probably a method they used. They probably took their, you know, like they'd wear their sweater for a couple of days and then they go sit it outside and let the cold really zap all of that. And then they would probably, again, I haven't done historical research, you know, bring it inside, let it warm up, wear it again. I cannot imagine that they didn't at some point actually wash that sweater, or in modern times that they don't wash that sweater. I suppose back in the days, you know, way back when, you didn't wash your clothes all that often because their washing methods were so harsh that it wore down the fibers, and you just couldn't be, there was no Target to run to go grab a new, you know, pair of socks or whatever. So I would say your freezer, if I had to just in my brain come up with a reason, I would say your freezer isn't cold enough. You know, they're cold, but they're not like, it's not as cold in my freezer right now as it is outside. And that method did not come in modern times. So, you know, outside. My other concern with the freezing method is while it can kill the bacteria, it's not actually cleansing things out of your clothes. And coming back to modern times, we have a lot more, the word I'm thinking of is unnatural, but that sounds weird, but you know what I mean. We put a lot more things on our skin, whether it's lotions and makeups and deodorant. And so even if you're using the natural varieties of those things, I will say I've used four natural deodorants. And of those four, 3 of them were thicker and tended to be harder to get out of my clothes than a not natural deodorant. So I'm not sure saying, well, I use natural stuff is actually necessarily better for the underarm of your sweater, I guess. Might be better for you. I have found it to be better for me personally, but when you're freezing it, you're not getting any of that stuff actually out of the fabric. You're not cleansing the deodorant off of the underarms. You're not cleansing the skin cells out of the, you know, the neck of your sweater or the cuff of your sweater. The other thing is, my guess is, in those climates where they froze their sweaters to wash them, they also probably had layers underneath. So there was probably a barrier from skin oils and cells from the sweater. Anyways, I'm making this longer than I meant to. I think to get those things, the oils, the skin cells, the body care items out of the sweater, it really needs to be washed. So, my other concern with not getting those things, especially the skin cells and oils out of your makes, is those things attract moths. And so if you don't get those out on a somewhat regular basis, especially when you're like packing stuff up to really put it away, you could attract moths. And they are, from what I have read from the yarn spinning boards, they are a real bugger to get rid of. So you do not want to attract them. Washing machine. I gotta share podcasts with you guys, video podcasts with you guys soon. So I watched this one podcast, and the woman who does the podcast is from Norway, I believe, and she washes all of her stuff in the washing machine. But I kind of think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I kind of think that in Norway and maybe in other countries, not the United States, their washing machines are they're a little different, and so they have better cycles. Like she's like, I put it in on the wool cycle, and I'm like, I don't think my washing machine has a wool cycle. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just need to look at it. But if you're gonna wash in the washing machine, you need to use the right cycle, use the right soap, and just be careful. If something is, more lacy, I would definitely stick it in a lingerie bag so it doesn't get snagged on anything. I don't think you probably want, I suppose depending on what you're washing, I would be careful about it spinning too fast at the end because that's centrifugal force. If you've ever been in one of those roller coasters where not really a roller coaster, amusement park rides where you stand on the wall and then they start spinning you around and then they drop the floor out and you like stay against the wall, you can feel the pressure of that like spreading you out. And that's what's happening in a washing machine. So you don't want it to stretch. So you can absolutely use a washing machine, just be careful. I think that takes some bravery, if I'm being honest. So my preferred method is to hand wash. And I know that's not what you want to hear. I can tell from the question. That is definitely not what you want to hear. But let me give you a tip for hand washing your makes that will hopefully help them dry faster. Now, you said that it depends on the time of year and the humidity levels. And that's absolutely true. We are in smack dab winter. There is no humidity in the air. I was just looking at my fingernails being like, oh my gosh, all my cuticles are fraying. I cannot keep enough moisture on my body to not have dry skin. But man, stuff dries fast. So here's my biggest tip for faster drying. Double squish it. So when you're washing, and washing is just like blocking, you're going to clean whatever you're washing in. Mine is always my sink, so it's always dirty because people have always toothpasted in it since the last time I washed. Clean the sink, fill it up with water. I've been leaning more towards warm and hot water lately. I think with a lot of fibers, it really like blooms the fibers nicely. And I haven't had a lot of issue with color fastness. And I haven't had any trouble with felting because I put it in and then I don't touch it. And what causes felting is agitation and shocks of temperature. If you've ever intentionally felted something, you intentionally stick it in your washing machine with like the hottest water possible, and then you shock it with cold water, and you do that several times to get it to the shape and size you want it. If you've ever felted something on purpose, getting something real good and felted is actually a challenge. Anyways, so submerge, soak in the wool wash. If you have a spot, you may want to gently, massage it out. I wouldn't scrub. That may be too tough depending on what, but it might not hurt to give a little extra, like put some wool wash maybe right on there and kind of, a little more attention to the spots that might have a little more odor on them, or up by your neck where you might have gotten makeup on it, or even lotion or hair products. Let it sit, drain the sink, squishy, squishy, squishy while you're in the sink. And what I usually do is I pop my sink has one of those drains that pops in and out. So I pop the drain out, I let the water run out, and I walk away, because I think I don't know, because I walk away, but my brain thinks that it's probably going to continue to drain some water for a few minutes. So I pop it, let the water drain while I go do something else, usually crochet something else. You got to keep the process going of constantly needing to wash and block things. I walk away, I come back, and then I roll out as much water as I can. So I push it for quite a while until I feel like I've gotten as much water out as I can. Then I lay a towel out. I lay whatever I'm washing or blocking out on the towel. I roll it up in the towel and I step on the towel. It's fine. I gently step, shuffle in two-step, electric slide. Anyways, then I unroll it. I take another towel and I put it in there, and I do the same thing all over again. And I firmly believe, though I could be wrong, that those two rolls and squishes it separately. Someone said, oh yeah, I use 2 towels, but I'm like, no, because if you just layer the towels, you've still got the wettest towel right next to your item. I keep wanting to say garment, but it's not necessarily a garment. Next to your item, and so I just don't think it gets as much moisture out. So I do 2 towels, but separate times. And I have really found that gets a lot of the moisture out. Another suggestion would be if you are blocking on, did you say? You didn't say. If you are not blocking, if you are drying on blocking mats or something flat and hard, it's going to take longer to dry. I'll link it below. I got on Amazon, I think, a sweater drying rack. So it's not like just the drying rack with like the dowels that you lay stuff over. It's a whole mesh, like it looks like a Pringle, but it's like big and it's mesh. And so when I lay my sweaters out on it, air gets in through the top and through the bottom, like full circulation. And that helps them dry a lot faster. And the one I got has 3 layers, maybe 4. I think just 3 though. And so that really allows you to do multiple things at once. It allows you to get full air circulation. If you're really impatient, I do think the dehumidifier is a great idea. I also find, when I'm blocking and I need something pinned to mats and I get impatient, I set it up on my bed and then turn the ceiling fan on. I don't know how much that helps, but it makes me feel better. So those are my suggestions. I know it's probably not what you wanted to hear. There's no magic trick. So, but hopefully the double rolling will help get it done faster. Please wash your makes. Avoid the moths. Avoid the moths at all costs. Okay, question number 2. This is not really a yarn question. It has to do with the many, many pairs of earrings and mugs you have. Love all of them, but very curious about how you organize and store them. Thank you. Okay. Yes, I have a lot. Here's the deal though. I actually don't have that many mugs. Or maybe compared to earrings, I don't have that many mugs. My mugs all fit in half of one cabinet, of one shelf of one cabinet. So I'm not going to show you. It's a disaster area and it's not great. But all I do is first of all, speaking of washing, I hand wash all of my handmade mugs. Many of them say they can go in the dishwasher. Nope, I don't risk it. So I hand wash them. And then you guys, if you don't still have one of those bottle racks, they sell them in the baby section. They probably sell something similar in the actual, like, not baby section. I was gonna say normal people, and I was like, babies are normal people, Sarah. They're just smaller. But I literally have 2 bottle racks, and we put all of our water bottles and my coffee mugs on there to dry because it contains them. They don't fall over. You've got some space to let air circulate. Anyways, that's not what you asked. But then I just put them up on a shelf, and I do double stack them, which makes my husband very nervous sometimes. But for the most part, they're all shaped. So like this guy, see how the handle sticks above the top of the mug? This guy has to go on top of another mug because if I turn him upside down, he doesn't sit flat. But I have enough that do sit flat that I make a layer upside down that sit flat, and then I just set other ones on top. That is not super exciting. I don't know. This is probably not super exciting either. For my earrings, which I have a ton of, and I bought more, and I've told myself, no more looking, Sarah. I need to sit down and organize because I might have enough earrings to get us through the whole rest of the year. And I can repeat. I was like, maybe I need to start selling off some of my earrings so that I can keep getting new ones. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. So for my earrings, I am very blessed to have a very nice sized closet. And I will take a picture of this and put it up. I purchased an earring rack, and it just hangs on the wall, and all the earrings hang on the earring rack. But we've come to a problem, which you'll see in the picture, and that is that one earring rack is not holding everything anymore. And it wasn't even really holding everything to begin with, because I didn't take older earrings I had and put them on the rack. I just added my new earrings to it. But now I've gotten more earrings and I need another rack. So I went back. I know I got that on Amazon, and I'm so indignant about that because I was looking for another one and I was frustrated that I couldn't find it. And my husband was like, I'll look. And when he couldn't find it, he was like, well, you must not have bought it on Amazon then. And I was like, no. I know I bought it on Amazon. So I'm going to go on a little search, and I'm going to find all of us another earring rack to buy. If you have earring organization tips or something you love, please let me know. I need to be more organized. I was just thinking it would be really nice to have almost like a filing system. I don't know. One of the reasons I really like the hangy thing on the wall is that I see them all. And so like when I'm getting ready, I will be like, oh, those ones today. Or I'll be like, oh, I want to wear those earrings today. What do I wear to match the earrings? So yeah, it's really not that exciting. And I really haven't mastered it, especially not the earrings. So that's what I have. Thank you so much for joining me today. I would love it if you enjoyed this video, if you would subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications so YouTube will let you know when I post more things. I've been posting all the things lately, and you can get notified when they go live. Like this video to help the algorithms know you enjoyed it, and share it with a friend if you think somebody else would like it too. Thank you again for joining me today, and happy crafting!